So, the number one part I'm going to discuss here, like why cybersecurity is becoming a national issue for all of us. As 20 years ago, you can see criminals rob banks, and today they rob actually bank accounts. And 20 years ago, thieves stolen wallets, but today they steal identities. And 20 years ago, criminals basically needed weapons, but today they need a laptop and internet connection. That's it. The battlefield has changed now. So, according to Australian Cybersecurity Centre, more than 84,700 cybercrime reports they have been received and submitted in just a single year. Because the reason is that, that's one cybercrime report they're receiving every 6 minutes, and more than 42,500 calls were made to Australian cybersecurity hotline centers. So over 1,200 basically major cybersecurity incidents required did direct even government attention and responses as well. Hello everyone, welcome to Podcast Australia with another interesting topic here. And today we are discussing cybersecurity and how it is affecting us on day-to-day basis, and how we can save ourselves from all these cyber threats by just applying some very careful ideas into our lives. So let's start it together. So the number one part I'm going to discuss here, like why cybersecurity is becoming a national issue for all of us. As 20 years ago, you can see criminals rob banks, and today they rob actually bank accounts. And 20 years ago, thieves stolen wallets, but today they steal identities. And 20 years ago, criminals basically needed weapons, but today they need a laptop and internet connection. That's it. The battlefield has changed now. Australia is now one of the most digitally connected countries in the world, and millions of Australians use online banking, MyGov, Medicare, online shoppers, cloud storages. They're using social media is heavily using in Australia, and smart devices. So basically, every click creates data, and every account stores personal information, and every login creates a potential target. So cybersecurity is no longer an IT problem, it is becoming an economical problem as well for all of us. So let's discuss in our part 2 of this session. The numbers are shocking. The research data has been shocking for all of us if we know that. So according to Australian Cybersecurity Centre, more than 84,700 cybercrime reports they have been received and submitted in just a single year. Because the reason is that, that's one cybercrime report they're receiving every 6 minutes, and more than 42,500 calls were made to Australian cybersecurity hotline centers. So over 1,200 basically major cybersecurity incidents required did direct even government attention and responses as well. So think about it. While you are listening to this podcast, multiple Australians are likely reporting cybercrime. So, and it's actually doing a lot of financial impact. If we discuss here, the average reported cybercrime cost to individuals approximately $33,000 per incident, which is small businesses approximately 56,600 per incident. And if we discuss about medium businesses, approximately $97,200 per incident, which is actually a lot. And many small businesses simply cannot even recover that amount, what they're losing it. And a cyber attack can wipe out years of hard work just overnight. And let's discuss about part 3, like why Australia is a prime target. So many experts believes Australia is an attractive target for cyber criminals. Why? Because Australians are digitally connected, very heavily online shoppers, heavy online banking users, and also they think they are wealthy as well. So cyber criminals knows basically, Australians generally have access to all the credit cards, saving, mortgages, and superannuation. So to a cyber criminal basically sitting overseas, Australian represents an opportunity. And unlike traditional crime, cyber criminals can attack thousands of Australians together from anywhere in the world. So be very careful. And according to that, I can discuss about, in our part 4 of this section, we can discuss about the biggest cyber threats in 2026. So the first one is the phishing. And phishing, basically I can explain you, phishing remains the number one cyber threat at the moment. So you receive a message saying your package could not be delivered, okay, and they can say your account has been suspended, or your tax refund is waiting, your bank account requires verification. These messages looks quite real to you, and the website looks quite identical, but it is actually fake. And once you enter your details, criminals steal them. According to Australian reports, identity fraud remains the most commonly basically reported cybercrime at the moment. And the threat number two we can discuss here, business email basically compromises here. So imagine like receiving an email from your CEO. The email asks finance staff to transfer 100,000. Everything appears very much real, but the email actually from a criminal. Business email compromise remains one of the most expensive forms of cybercrime and cyber attacks affecting organizations. Threat number three I can discuss here, ransomware. So ransomware is digital kidnapping basically. So hackers breaks into the systems, they encrypt everything, and from there they actually want demand payments from hospitals, schools, governments, businesses. Nobody is immune. In recent Australian reporting, ransomware continues to be involved in a significant portion of major incidents. So and in I can discuss about here what actually the role AI is playing. So the AI is cyber basically security revolution. So now let's discuss something even more concerning, artificial intelligence. AI is transforming cybersecurity faster than any technology before it. So how AI helps defenders? Security teams now use AI to detect attacks in real time, analyze billions of events, identify like unusual behaviors, and of course predict emerging threats. So tasks that once required hundreds of analysts can now be performed in seconds. So how AI help criminals in that way? As I explained you how it's helping defenders. Unfortunately, criminals also have AI, and AI can create actually a lot of fake voices, fake videos, fake emails, fake websites, and also fake identities. So imagine receiving a phone call. It sounds exactly like your son, and exactly like your wife, or maybe exactly like your boss. The voice says to you, I'm in trouble, send money. That technology exists today, and it's becoming increasingly convincing that people accept those type of phone calls as well. So be very careful when you're receiving those phone calls. Just don't take action immediately. Think and act or react on it, okay? So the part 6 I can discuss here about the human factor. So here is something surprising, like most successful cyber attacks don't start with technology, they start with people. So hackers understand psychology, and they exploit it basically with fear, urgency, trust, and curiosity. So for example, I can let you know here that your account will be closed in 24 hours. Click immediately. An urgent action required. People panic, people click, and of course, once they click on it, the attack succeeds. So once the attack succeeds here, cybersecurity is often more about human behavior than technical systems. So we need to understand human psychology here. As I explained previously, please be patient. Don't just act or react straight away on those type of messages in hurry or in rush. Take your time, think about it, and after this analyzation, decide what you need to do next. So in part 7 I can discuss about real lessons from major breaches happen in Australia. So some of Australia's largest organizations have suffered major data breaches in recent years. Millions of customer records have been exposed, names, addresses, phone numbers, identification documents, medical information. The lesson is simple: if billion-dollar companies can be breached, none of us can assume we are immune. Cybersecurity is not about being impossible. Basically it's not an impossible to hack. Basically it's about making yourself harder to attack than next target. So in part 8 I can discuss about how to protect yourself today. Okay, now we talking about protection. We already discussed the attacks, why is it happening, how is it happening, how much is it happening with the research and current data. But now let's talk about how we can protect ourselves. So if you remember nothing else from today's episode, remember these 5 actions. Okay, so the main action you can take here: enable multi-factor authentication. Whatever apps you're using, try to use that as much as possible. So what actually it does is, this is a single step can stop many attacks. Even if criminals steal your password, they still need your second verification method, which they have very difficulty to get into. Okay, and the other one is stop reusing passwords. So if you use the same passwords everywhere, one breach become multiple breaches. Use unique passwords and use passwords managers. So in that way they might access of one of your apps, but they're not able to access other apps in that way as well. And now discuss about other one is the protection where you can use it here, which is update your devices. So many updates contain security patches. Delaying updates is likely leaving your front door unlocked. So when you have receiving a notice update your device, please consider that seriously. And number 4 is backup your data. So if ransom strikes tomorrow, say backup could save your businesses and personal files. So do use backup your data strategy all the time and slow down. Most scams rely on urgency, as I said before. Pause, think, verify, then act. And in part number 9 we can discuss about cybersecurity careers in Australia. So this is something, because we have increasing threats issues in Australia related to cyber crimes. So cybersecurity industry is basically growing rapidly if we talk about employment here. And the roles included in security analysts, cloud security engineers, ethical hackers, penetration testers, incident responders, and security architects. So government and businesses are investing billions globally into cyber defense. Demand for skilled professional continues to increase as these threats evolve. And what the future looks like by 2030, we will likely to see AI generated cyber attacks. So be very careful here. More connected smart devices, or more sophisticated scams, increase attacks against our critical infrastructure. So the cybersecurity, cyber field will not just involve computers; it will involve cars, homes, hospitals, factories, and power grids. So everything connected to the internet becomes a potential threat. As you know, in electrical cars we have internet, in our own cars, other cars we have internet. So be very careful. And now, after talking all these things, how we can protect ourselves from this, now I'm coming to the end of my podcast and giving you some final thoughts. Is I leave you with this thought tonight that most people lock their front door every night, right? You never sleep without locking your home front door. So most people lock even their cars as well. Most people protect their houses, but many people still use weak password, unfortunately. And no multi-factor authentications is being in use. Outdated software is still there. Unsecured accounts. In today's world, your digital identity may be more valuable than your physical wallet. And cybersecurity isn't about a fear, it's about a preparation. Because the question is no longer is just about will cyber criminals try to target Australians? The answer is yes. The real question is, will you be ready when they do? And we thank you, if you think if they're going to do it or not, please get yourself prepared earlier. So thank you for listening to Podcast Australia. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast with your friends and family, and stay tuned for more discussions on technology, careers, business, and life in Australia. And if you have any business inquiry from us, we will be helpful for you, and we are ready to provide you services. If you need it for your cyber security and other IT professional areas, please contact us through YouTube, our Instagram accounts, and our Facebook accounts. We will be able to help you out immediately. So if you have any business inquiries, please put into the comment section or message us privately or email us on our email account. We will get back to you shortly. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and stay cyber secure. Thank you so much.